My name is Al, and you're with People Advocating Cannabis Education. P.A.C.E is about people who promote the benefits of cannabis, and we do that through educational documentaries as well as public education. Today we are at the Grindhouse Cafe here in Campbellford, and I'd like to introduce to you an advocate that's going to talk to us about the history of cannabis. I'd like to introduce you to Ted Smith. How are you, Ted?
I'm awesome. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here today. I'm sure we're going to really enjoy this. We're always looking for a little bit of history in cannabis. Can you tell us a bit about yourself, Ted, as far as, maybe some of your education, whether you got any hobbies, what you do for a living, so on and so forth? Just a bit of intro.
Sure. Well, my roots are actually there in Ontario. I'm now in Victoria, British Columbia, but I'm a second-generation dairy farmer on both sides near the Stratford area. And then I moved to town when I was Cambridge, Ontario, that is, when I was 10, and grew up there. And then went to Wilfrid Laurier University in Waterloo. I was actually going to become a chartered accountant, so I started taking economics and math when I started there.
Oh.
And yeah, so I'm quite happy to have that background, but I guess about halfway through I ran into philosophy and woke up, you could say, and started writing books and graduated back with the philosophy degree. And decided that I should move to, actually I was going to go to Japan and teach English. I thought with a philosophy degree there wasn't much I could do, and I figured I would be, writing and thinking and teaching it, in Japan, until about this age, now 42 or 43. And then I thought I'd come back to Canada with my books and money to publish them. But then I ran into the clear cuts in the Clayoquot Sound when I left Ontario and came to British Columbia, kind of on my journey. And the clear cut in the mountains, it looked like they took a paint scraper to the mountainside. They just sheared the living material off of it. It was horrible.
Just like a pipeline would do.
Yeah, and, way worse. Yeah, it was like a nuclear bomb had gone off in the mountains and just really devastated the landscape. And so, it struck me that those trees would be cut down to print my books. And then I went to a hempology meeting in Vancouver and realized that my family could be growing this plant that would be printing the paper my books would be printed on, and so much more. And so that was, I guess, 18 years ago, I went to my first hempology meeting in Vancouver soon after arriving in BC. And it struck me that I should become an advocate for this plant, for my family, the farmers who had this, resource taken from them, and for the environment and the planet. And so I decided to move to Victoria, I guess 17 years ago this month, to start teaching and writing and publish the history of cannabis, which is something I've finally done.
Correct. Wow, you've had a bit of a journey then, in what you started out into what you ended up with.
Yeah, it's been epic.
Yeah. You're involved in the cannabis community in several ways. This includes the Canada Cannabis Buyers Club, right? You're also involved with, is it the only cannabis newspaper that's basically national?
I believe that the Cannabis Digest is, the only national newspaper or even Canadian-focused publication. Stuff Magazine and even Treating Yourself comes out of Toronto there, but it's more international flavor, whereas our newspaper, the Cannabis Digest, is really focused on the politics and law. It was really a newsletter for the Cannabis Buyers Club that we've turned into a national paper. In particular, when cannabis culture stopped printing, there was this void of information that we wanted to fill.
Correct. Okay, I want to sort of touch on each one of the things that you're involved with, and that includes the Cannabis Buyers Club, which we mentioned, and the Digest now, and you've also written a book, Hempology 101. I've got some questions on that as well. So let's start with the Cannabis Buyers Club. Can you tell us a little bit of history about about the Buyers Club and basically what got it started and that?
Sure. Well, when I moved to Victoria 17 years ago, I was homeless. I lived in a van at the time, and I just started having meetings around Victoria at the University of Victoria. And then the first issue that really came up was the medical use of cannabis. This was back in 1995, and people were dying after being contracted with AIDS very quickly. It was a death sentence for them. And the awareness of the medicinal uses were becoming apparent. Dennis Perron had started up the Cannabis Buyers Club in San Francisco, and so I knew a club existed, although it was actually impossible for me to find out their mandate. So I looked at case law, like the Morgenthaler decision and the Charter of Rights, and decided that we would help people that had a doctor's diagnosis of a permanent physical disability or disease. Essentially protecting people's right to choose their, medical treatment if they had, chronic pain or, kind of permanent disability like that.
Correct.
And
Correct.
so I met a lady who made cookies and brownies and sauves and massage oils, and she worked in the AIDS community. And so I started meeting people who were not just smoking pot to stay alive, but eating it. And smoking was enough to keep them alive, but as they started eating it, their health would actually turn around and improve. Right. And so, that was, so I got a pager and a pamphlet, and out of my van, I just started doing deliveries.
So basically, you started this out of the back of your van.
Yeah, I didn't know anybody really. I was from Ontario. I was like the biggest loudmouth heat score in Victoria. All the people in the industry and the movement weren't really happy with me, kind of stirred it up like I was, but things needed to happen. People needed medicine, so I stuck my head out and started providing it.
So you've gone from a van, and now you're in a building and the whole bit.
Yeah, it wasn't a straight line though.
No.
We went. Well, I guess it was, because the building, the apartment I ran out of was on the same street, on Johnson Street. But I went from the van to an apartment, and we're out of there for about 5 years. Actually, the police told me to get a store when they were raiding a friend of mine in the apartment building. Mm-hmm. And so they told me to get the store 11 and a half years ago. And then about a year later, we had our first police raid at the store. And then we ended up actually having 4 police raids between 2002 and 2003. Yeah. And we opened up either right after the police left or as soon as we got out of jail. Or we've never gone a single day without selling medicine. It might have took till the end of the day, but we've provided medicine every day since we've gotten that store.
So you're back up and operating right away again?
Yeah, although it put us like $80,000 in debt. It almost drove me bankrupt. But we beat every single charge that was laid against us. And then almost 3 years ago, our bakery got raided.
Yes.
And my friend Owen Smith was charged with trafficking in P.A.C.E for making cookies and skin products. And this past spring, we convinced the judge in Victoria that the MMAR were unconstitutional because they didn't allow patients to make extracts out of their illegal cannabis.
Correct. And
well, I was going to say, we still have a jury trial to go ahead with that. But, that's proceeding.
I have a bit of a grin on my face because the police officer just walked in and out of the cafe. This is why I have the camera turned with the wall behind me, because due to legal reasons, people need to know that they're being videotaped if they come in here. So I turn it so that you can't see people come and going. And who knows, who knows what that police officer would have said. So, so what kind of services, what all kind of services does the Compassion Club offer to its members?
Well, we have 30 food and skin products now. We've really gone out of our way to provide low-cost alternatives to smoking cannabis, because eating cannabis is very beneficial for people that are dealing with severe health problems. It almost doesn't matter what you're dealing with. If you're in a bad state, you should be eating cannabis unless you're allergic to it.
Correct.
So we've we've prolonged a lot of people's lives and helped them out a lot by using edibles and topicals not as much. They haven't turned on to that. But when when someone comes in who already smokes pot for their pain, we tell them that if they use our edibles, they will save money, smoke less, feel better, and use less prescription drugs.
Yes,
those
yes.
are the 4 goals, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So we provide a lot of services for free. Obviously, we sell pot and the products, but we have the medical regulation forms there. So when people come and join, it's about a 45-minute intake because we give a really good explanation of our services and give them the forms and go through our products and make sure that they know what the science is behind it and stuff.
Right. So like an orientation period.
Yeah, so we provide a lot of education. Certainly the newspaper is part of it. And we're always there for free consulting. My friend Gail, my girlfriend, is a healthcare consultant as well. She's like our little witch doctor, so she knows a lot about alternative medicines and therapies and herbs and foods that you could use to heal or, at least deal with your problems. We do a lot of consulting. We also have a vapor lounge and smoking room for people.
Oh, do you?
Yeah. It's really
not all of them offer that.
No, there's more in Vancouver starting up with it, but no, majority don't. But yeah, we've since the very beginning, it's been important for me to have a space for people to smoke pot. And for about 10 years, it was in a little closet. Actually, it wasn't very good, but we made some changes last year. And it's sort of like the size of a bedroom, but it's got a nice floor and nice art. And it's probably full right now as we speak, actually.
Now, talking about food and that, I noticed that at your website that you have a recipe page there where you can go in. Now, we think about recipes. Is it only like baked goods, or does it offer other kinds of recipes?
Well, we basically provide the recipes that we sell at the club. Anything that we make is made with basically butter, olive oils, and vegetable oils. We don't make any products or sell any products that have got alcohol or ethanol or any kind of solvent. We believe that in the whole plant medicine, so the more of this plant you can get into you, the better. Like cooking it concentrate is actually you're kind of cooking out a whole bunch of good stuff.
Yeah.
The only thing that isn't medicine in this plant is the fiber. So, really all you should be trying to take out is the fiber. And even that, a little bit of it's good for you, right?
Right.
It's just the amount of fiber that's in the plant is more than you need. And I know that from experience. But it's something that, you want to make extractions to a point, But, so we've got, how to decarboxylize it and infuse it in butters and activate all the chemicals. Like there's a little video and everything. Because we want people to be able to look after themselves, and this plant can do that for people. And so we want companies or other people, or other clubs to kind of keep their secrets to themselves. And unfortunately, most cannabis cookbooks don't talk about decarboxylizing. They don't seem to know about activating the THC. They also don't mention lecithin. Lecithin's soy lecithin often. It's a food additive.
I noticed that was on your website.
Yeah, it not only helps with the absorption of the cannabinoids, so it'll hit you stronger, but lecithin's really good for you in general. It's really good for your nervous systems. You have multiple sclerosis or other sort of conditions where your nerves have been affected. It's actually really good at helping that system stay functioning. So everybody should have a little bit of lecithin in their diet generally anyway. And so, we try to teach people everything that we know. And because we're so open and helpful and encourage other people to experiment, we get a lot of feedback from other people who, kind of tweak our experiments or add to them. And so that's what's helped us improve our recipes.
Correct.
And it's kind of funny as opposed to, a group that keeps its secrets to itself and nobody else shares secrets. Our more open attitude has helped improve not only our recipes, but everybody else's.
Okay, Ted, got to take a commercial break. Be right back.